Hi, Dennis, it's yours.
Okay, for you, the new people out here that don't know me, I'm Dennis Young, and today I'm going to do, or attempt to do, the snowman that's going around here. So basically, I just started out with a piece going to go between centers, marked it off, use my awl. Okay. Now, you'll see me later on take the face shield off, but for right now, when I start roughing out one, I would always suggest use your face shield, because you never know what the wood's going to do until you find out that it blew up in your face. So. Now what I try to do is I'll start with the fat part of the body down here, and then when I get up here I'm going to leave a tenon up here by its head so I can reverse it and smooth the bottom off. I hate making anything that it shows the foot or an X on the bottom or something like that. I always try to hide how did you hold this thing. So basically it's like you can look at this and say, okay, I'm going to put a tenon here. I need probably about 1/2 inch scrap wood. It's going to have its head. The body, you don't want a complete circle. It's sort of like an oblong circle. So we'll just say right about here we're going to make the top of the bottom. Oh, and when you're adjusting your tool post, always shut your lathe off. The bottom part would probably be 2/3 to the head being 1/3, you know, but I'm not of the piece of wood. The piece of wood, I'm going to have a tenon up here to reverse it, and I'm going to have about 1/2 inch of scrap wood at the top that I'm going to cut, you know. So basically I'm going to go with about a 2/3 here and 1/3 up here, so, you know, as far as body proportion. And I'm going to lose some off of the foot down here too. The bottom of it would be probably whenever I reverse it, because you got to consider the drive spur is in there a good 1/8 of an inch, and so the bottom of it would probably be right about there. So I'm going to try to round this, you know, halfway, get it round. I thought I had it round, and there's a spot still there. But I'm going to take some meat down off of this to get the head down about proportional size. I've got this one right here is a little bitty, I don't know, 3/8, something like that, spindle gouge. I've got it ground to a very sharp point. I don't use a skew for nothing. I can't use a skew. When people use skews, congratulations. But if you could use a skew on this hardwood where you're rounding over or whatever, or getting down in the little tight spots, more power to you, because it's going to be able to give you a lot smoother cut. This here is my skew alternative. I can get down in a very tight corner with this thing and make a nice crisp union between the head and the body. So I'm riding the bevel so I can pick up the bevel with it.
So is that more likely to catch? I mean, the fact that you've got that ground to the point, is it going to catch more than?
No, not really. It's going to be able to go in deeper. Like that groove right there is, you're into such a tight point to make the union, and this is able to go in very tight without catching. And you got a lot of shoulder to ride on if you need to. I probably will today, but I've never had a catch with this one due to the fact that I'm riding the bevel at all times, and it is such a, I'm not taking that much. I'm only taking off a couple thousandths with this thing whenever you're going in there. You can pick up a bite on this thing and just get a very small cut. So it's something. It's only got one use, and that's to go in a tight spot and have a nice smooth transition. So
Side question, Dennis.
yes,
That won't fit in the Varigrind. It's not long enough. How do you sharpen that? You just do it by hand, or?
this was sharpened on a Varigrind with the like you use whenever I sharpen this. And this grind right here is a Keith Armstrong grind. You guys know, you've heard of Keith Armstrong. If you don't know him, he's the guy back there with the green blazer or vest on right there. This is a Sorby roughing gouge, and he does a swept back grind. So obviously I copied what Keith does. And so anyway, you set this in your Varigrind like this, and you would turn it on your wheel.
Okay, so you're just using the arm. You're not using the Varigrind tool.
Using the arm.
Okay, that's
yeah,
what.
I'm
Okay.
using it in the what you call the Wolverine system.
Right.
With the arm pulled out. I'm just setting it in the thing here, and I'm spinning it on the wheel.
Okay.
Same way here. I've got it up farther, and I'm just spinning it
Okay.
on the wheel.
Okay. Because I've got one of those little deals like that. Those little and I can't get it to pass through the Varigrind
that
jig. It's
around.
not long enough.
Yeah, the Varigrind would give you more of a
Rounded.
It would have more of a pronounced bevel. Where I want the bevel to go down to nothing.
You got you.
Okay, so let's just true this thing up, knock off any ridges we got. If you notice, I turn the lathe speed down whenever you're sanding. You don't want it to load up on your sandpaper and get hot. And if you feel your hands start getting warm, you're going either too fast or you're pushing too hard. And your sandpaper is either going to start burnishing your wood and not really sanding. I use an antique oil finish on most of my stuff, so I'll be coating this and buffing it later. And it doesn't hurt to reverse the lathe to help sand it. In fact, most of the time at home, I'm sanding in reverse itself. Sometimes I'll alternate forward and reverse. We'll call it good enough for now. Okay, cut your tenon. I have one of these pairs of calipers at home just for my tenons. And if I do mess it up, my pole barn has the exposed posts in my pole barn, and I've cut a gauge on my post right behind me that I can take this and put it right on that marking, and I know whenever I set it, and I cut it, my jaws on my Nova 2 jaws there will come almost all together. You know, the tighter you get your jaws together, the better your holding power is. So always, you know, have something you can duplicate, you know, that whatever distance it is, whether it be a notch on your hole in your garage or just a blank right there, just to be able to set it, and you got it. So. The other thing I started doing since Chris Ramsey was here, he showed us that whenever you cut your shoulder down to like a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch, shoulder is all you're going against, you get a better chance of aligning your piece up the first time you put it back in the jaws. So. The top of the head really doesn't matter because I'm just gonna cut it off later, and so that part's not gonna matter. Now, for safety, if you want to, you can always bring this up till you got it to where you're ready to take it off. It says 2,700. That about in line?
I'm staying over here.
That's why they put the shield up.
Jimmy Kuzma's at 32.
My theory is when I'm at this stage here, I'm practicing my finish cuts. Chris Ramsey's is, I practice my finish cut on my finish cut. So, always practice, you know. This is a 3/8 bowl gouge with a little bit of an undercut, or a recessed bottom. Okay, so there's the body. These little pieces right here, don't throw them away. They will come in handy for every little piece, anything you make. Jam chucks, whatever. You've already got a tendon on it. All you got to do is throw it in your chuck. Within 3 minutes, you've got it already profiled of whatever you need to do. I've got one here for later on for 1 3/8. So whenever we do the hat, I got one for that. We'll just use this stuff here for take the hat out of it. I've already cut a tendon on it. Okay, I've got an 1 3/8 Forstner bit on there. I'm just going to go in probably about 1/8 of an inch, because all I'm using that 1 3/8 for is just to give me a standard wall side of the diameter. So that way, whenever I make a bunch of hats up, I can just go to the 1 3/8 tenon, and if they're close, I can either put a piece of paper on them and drive it on, fill up that thickness, or now the profile of the hat, I like to have a little bit of it curved up. That's just my own preference. You guys can make these hats however you want them. There's all you know, the sky's the limit on what you want. Okay, what I usually do is if I want this brim to be 1/8 of an inch thick, I'm going to start about 1/4 of an inch thick. And that way I can take it down, and my last few cuts with the right hand edge of this thing will just be a finished cut with the parting tool. So I'm going to go wide to start with. I'm looking at the inside diameter here. I don't want to get it down any smaller than that if I have to, because I am going to cove that out here in a little bit. And I think I made this head bigger than what my other ones were at home, so yeah, it fits up in there. You can tilt it, and it's not showing any too much of a gap. We'll just go with it. That'll work. Now I'm just going to halfway rough this out. And being a person that cannot roll a bead, I just use the side of my my cutter here, and I'm just scraping it off, trying to get a rounded profile. One thing about sanding in reverse, it does take the dust away from you. I recommend having a dust collector set up right here, sucking the dust away from you. I put Formby's antique tongue oil on them, and then I buff it with the Bill system. I just like the look that the buffing system does. You know, I've tried using Mylan's friction polish, and it does all right, but I'm just not happy with it. You know. And
Are you able to, like a lot of guys that sand with an oil or a wax, are you able to sand with the tongue oil?
I've never tried that. I know that the Mr. YouTube guy on who? Carl, yeah, Jacobson. He uses a paste with some kind of a sand with his sandpaper.
I don't know if that would kill the dust and condition the wood and help
Yeah.
prep it for maybe.
What speed you sand at?
1300 probably wouldn't hurt to go a little bit slower, but it's not getting hot on me.
Dennis, what's that sandpaper you're using?
This is the stuff that Brian Hart's turned us on to. You'll find this in your drywall section at Lowe's or Menards or any of the big box stores. It's a flexible, rubberized sanding paper. It is great on going around contours because it will form around it. Thank you, Brian. I've been using it ever since he
What
did.
tricks can you get?
You can get on a roll. You can get 100, 150, and 220. In the sheets, you can get 320. 320 is about the highest I can find.
You can't get the rolls anymore.
You can't get the rolls no more?
Now they make it in flat pack. It's a lot bigger size.
Really? Yeah. But it is really nice sandpaper for this. I only sand at 220 because of that buffing system. I feel like it's just a waste of time going any higher for the finish I can get out of it. So. And I noticed that Chris Ramsey, when he does cowboy hats, he's a professional turner. He goes to 220, and that's as far as he goes. So. Okay, I'm giving, this thing is probably a good 1/16 or it says 1/16 of an inch, but I don't know, it feels like it's a little bit thicker. But whenever you make a parting cut like this, you want to cut probably twice the width of the blade, or at least 1.5 times. So you're not going, when you get down in there, you're not going to be binding yourself up. So I'm giving myself a, like a double extra hole, or width. Okay, so it's a little bit loose. I'm just going to take a piece of paper towel. And all I want to do is just have a little bit of safety precaution to help hold that in until I get the outside where I want it. And then it's going to be coming back off. It's still got a little bit of play, but it's going to be hard to see it whenever you got it on the snowman. Very light cuts. Yes, I am. Yes. I got a little bit of a dome. That's the beauty of these little hats like this. You can make them a little bit of a dome. You can even cut it underneath if you wanted to. Just whatever.
So when the customer buys one, you tell them that you intentionally did all those different things?
Yeah, the arms there, now those things, you got to do a lot of different access turning to get those, like multi-axis, to get the arms and everything like that. Yeah. Actually, we've got a dogwood tree out in our yard, and they've got perfect little limbs. Yeah, it's getting smaller. Probably won't have a bloom on us this year. Okay, so there's the little hat and the snowman right there, like that. And I like cocking them one way or another. You know, just straight up and down, people look at it and say, well, that's made out of one piece of wood, isn't it? If you cock it sideways and they say it's made out of one piece of wood, you say, yeah, it's one piece of wood. Especially if you got some walnut for the body and something else for the top, and it's cocked like that, you say, yeah, it's one piece of wood. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'll show you just a few finishing tricks. That's what we're going to do right here. Okay, before I show you how to fasten it on, I only brought so much dowel rod with me. We're going to make the nose. And I borrowed my granddaughter's, whenever I did these, I borrowed my granddaughter's orange marker. Orange marker works perfect for making the carrots. Okay, at this point here, I would take the orange magic marker and I would turn it on and color that thing up. So what I want to do is I want to get this tenon that's sticking out of it to about a 1/16 of an inch. Close enough. So there we've got us a nose, and we'll say it's already been colored orange. So basically, I've got a bunch of drill bits. I've got them at an auction one time, and I think they're in wire numbers. Wires go about every 5,000ths as a drill bit. So basically what I do is I put my calipers on here and I see if it says it's 120 or 118, then I'll get a corresponding drill bit and drill the nose hole and put a little glue on it, stick it in. So that's the nose part. Now, we were going to do how to mount it. I didn't bring my cordless drill with me today, but this thing does a pretty good job. Okay, so you got to envision, when you're sitting here looking at it, whereabouts you would want that hat. And another thing you do is you try to look at the body of it and look, what do you want for the front of it? So I'll just say that's the front. We're going to cock his head a little to the right. So here's dead center right there where that nubbin's sticking out. So I'm going to go off just a little bit, and we're going to say this is the front of it. We're going to have its nose right there, and we're going to do its eyes. Okay, one thing I've learned is if you look right now, the eyes, I've got them a little bit off. With me being right-handed, and I'm predominantly right-handed, I've found, like with the arms and stuff, I'll go ahead and mark the left side first, because now I can hold the pencil over here and halfway get the right side, you know, so where I'm going to drill my holes. But if I mark that right side and I come around here and try to hold that pencil and mark the left-hand side, I cannot do it. So we're going to envision that right down the belly will be a button here and a button there. My wife has got these antique buttons that were just beautiful for these things. They've got a little bit of a tenon on the back of them that where you sew onto them. So if you drill your hole right there and put a little hot glue down in that hole and then stick that down in there and hold it for about 10 seconds, it's perfect. So we'll just say that's where the thing's going to go, and the hole is going to be a little bit offset. So. There you go. Now, the eyes. You go to your local craft store, Hobby Lobby or whatever. These are called floral accessories. They're stick pins, and they've got the little red heads. Cut them off to about 3/8 of an inch long. Take the little ends of your needle, get you a salt drink bottle that's got a closable top, put those needles down in there and seal it back up. That way you've got them contained, so you throw them in the trash, they get thrown away. I ain't telling you why I do this, but okay. So right here I've got you can see the bird I've got on there. It looks like a teardrop or an onion or something like that. I'm going to do the eyes. And basically what you want to be able to do is whenever you set one of these down in there, it will fit down in the hole and not be sticking out maybe bug-eyed or something like that. So take your Dremel tool, go down enough. You don't want it really countersunk in, but you'll find after doing them a while, you get a happy medium, what really looks best. So then after I've got that, I've got a real fine little drill bit in here. And this little drill bit is a little bit smaller than the needles in these stick pins. So what I do is I'll chuck this holder, I'll chuck it up my drill because the drill bit is too small for my drill bit to even grip. So I'll chuck this up in it. I will drill a center hole down through here. You know, if you was to take your time and drill down through there, but you would drill this and it's a little bit smaller than the needle. So when you take one of your 3/8 inch long needles now, I put it down in the hole, get it started. I'll put a piece of little leather over the top of it so you don't mar the eye, and tap it in, and it'll seat, and it ain't coming back out. So, but anyway, that's a snowman. Any questions? I better
Pass around.
He looks pretty
Pass around the eyes.
Yeah. And then the nose, you would drill it out corresponding to the carrot. And then the mouth, I just put little dots for water. A lot of times I'll do all this while it's still in the lathe, but I've got it up here. That way if it does need to be sanded a little bit, I can go ahead and sand it. Put a little bit of glue on there. I don't assemble the hat to the body until after I've buffed it. So go ahead and buff it, buff both pieces, glue your dowel in, put your little glue down in there. Find out what part of the hat you want on the front, because everything looks a little different if you spin it around. And then just stick it on there. There we go.